I asked to chat GPT about Trump and Elon. AI said, Donald Trump and Elon Musk are two of the most influential figures in the world, but their actions and leadership styles have both positive and negative consequences. Here's a breakdown of their impact on the US and the world. Donald Trump has positive impacts. Economic growth deregulation, 2017 to 2020. Under his administration, the U.S. experienced economic growth, low unemployment, and a booming stock market before COVID-19. He cut corporate taxes, which encouraged business investments. Foreign policy Middle East peace deals. He brokered the Abraham Accords, improving relations between Israel and some Arab nations. Pressured NATO allies to increase defense spending, reducing the U.S. financial burden. Tough on China. He took a hard stance on China's trade practices, intellectual property theft, and human rights abuses. Many saw this as necessary to curb China's growing global influence. Negative impacts. Polarization attacks on democratic institutions. His leadership style fueled political division in the U.S., undermining trust in elections, media, and institutions. His role in the January 6th Capitol riots shook U.S. democracy. Environmental damage. Withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement, delaying global efforts to fight climate change. Removed environmental regulations that led to increased pollution and climate risks. Weakening global alliances. Alienated allies in Europe and withdrew the U.S. from global agreements. Iran nuclear deal, WHO. Strengthened isolationist policies, reducing U.S. influence in international diplomacy. Elon Musk. Positive impacts. Advancing space exploration. Through SpaceX, he made space travel cheaper and more efficient. Plans for Mars colonization could push human civilization forward. Electric vehicles, renewable energy. Tesla revolutionized the electric vehicle (EV) market, reducing dependence on fossil fuels. Promoted solar energy solutions and battery technology. Developing Neuralink, brain-computer interfaces, with potential to treat neurological disorders. OpenAI, before he distanced from it, helped push artificial intelligence research. Negative impacts. Influence on social media misinformation. Since buying Twitter, X, he has removed content moderation, allowing misinformation and hate speech to spread. His unpredictable tweets have caused financial instability in cryptocurrency and stock markets. Weakening worker rights. Tesla has been accused of union busting and poor worker treatment in the U.S. and abroad. Laid off thousands of Twitter employees suddenly, creating instability. Risky AI tech development. Promotes artificial intelligence and automation, but his warnings about AI risks contradict his actions. SpaceX's dominance could lead to privatization of space, reducing government oversight. Overall impact on the world. Good for the world. Technological advancements in space, AI, and clean energy, Musk. Business-friendly policies that boosted the economy, Trump, pre-COVID. Strategic foreign policy in the Middle East, Trump. Bad for the world. Increased global political instability and division, Trump. Rise of misinformation and weakening social trust, Musk Trump. Environmental setbacks due to deregulation, Trump. Risks of monopolization in AI, space, and technology, Musk. Yes, both Donald Trump and Elon Musk have taken actions that could undermine democratic values, though in different ways. How Donald Trump threatens democracy. Attacks on election integrity. His repeated claims that the 2020 U.S. election was stolen undermined trust in the electoral system. The January 6th Capitol riots were a direct result of his refusal to accept defeat, setting a dangerous precedent for rejecting democratic outcomes. Erosion of democratic norms. He encouraged authoritarian-style leadership, praising dictators like Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un. Regularly attacked the free press, labeling media outlets as fake news and enemies of the people. Encouraging political violence polarization. Rhetoric that fueled division, racism, and conspiracy theories made political compromise nearly impossible. His influence has encouraged far-right extremism and weakened democratic institutions. Weakened checks balances, pressured the Justice Department to act in his favor, used the presidency for personal gain, refusing to separate business and politics. How Elon Musk threatens democracy, control over public discourse, Twitter/X. After buying Twitter, now X, he removed many content moderation rules, allowing more hate speech, conspiracy theories, and disinformation to spread. This weakens fact-based journalism and strengthens authoritarian propaganda, undermining free speech by promoting chaos. Musk claims to defend free speech but shadows bans critics and boosts voices he favors, e.g., right-wing influencers, conspiracy theorists. By reinstating banned figures like Trump and Alex Jones, he encourages dangerous rhetoric. Tech monopolization, lack of accountability. His control over SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, Twitter, and AI companies makes him one of the most powerful unelected individuals. If his companies dominate space, transportation, and AI, he could shape policies without democratic oversight. AI automation threats to democratic stability. Musk warns about AI dangers, yet funds rapid AI development, potentially making it harder for democratic governments to regulate. Mass automation through Tesla and AI could lead to job losses and economic instability, increasing public discontent with democracy. Conclusion: a threat to democracy? Both Trump and Musk challenge traditional democratic values, but in different ways. Trump weakens democracy through authoritarian tendencies, political division, and distrust in elections. Musk weakens democracy by controlling online speech, spreading misinformation, and consolidating power in technology. If left unchecked, their influence could lead to a future where authoritarianism rises, elections are discredited, and powerful billionaires control public discourse. Then I asked a DeepSeek AI about them. The result was, certainly. I will address the actions and potential consequences of Donald Trump and Elon Musk separately, focusing on their impacts on the US and the world, while evaluating their effects on democratic values. My aim is to present a balanced analysis based on observable outcomes and widely discussed critiques. Donald Trump. Key actions. Political rhetoric and polarization. Trump's populist rhetoric often emphasized America first, criticized political opponents, and framed media as fake news. Policy decisions. Tax cuts, 2017, deregulation, immigration restrictions, withdrawal from international agreements, e.g., Paris Climate Accord, and trade wars. 2020 election claims. Repeated assertions of election fraud without evidence, culminating in the January 6th Capitol riot. Potential positive consequences. Economic growth. Tax cuts and deregulation may have temporarily boosted corporate investment and stock markets. Populist appeal addressed frustrations of marginalized voter bases, particularly on issues like immigration and globalization. Foreign policy shifts. Some saw his unconventional diplomacy, e.g., engaging North Korea, as a break from ineffective status quo approaches. Potential negative consequences. Erosion of institutional trust. Attacks on media, judiciary, and electoral processes risked undermining public confidence in democratic institutions. Global leadership vacuum. Withdrawal from international agreements weaken U.S. alliances and climate cooperation. Social division. Rhetoric amplified racial, cultural, and political divides, normalizing extremist ideologies in some cases. Threat to democracy. Undermining electoral integrity. False claims of election fraud and attempts to overturn results set a precedent for questioning legitimate democratic processes.
Weakening norms. Disregard for checks and balances, e.g., pressuring the Justice Department, challenged long-standing democratic traditions. Elon Musk key actions, technological innovations, Tesla, electric vehicles, renewable energy, SpaceX, space exploration, Neuralink, and Starlink, global internet access. Twitter, X ownership, acquired the platform in 2022, reinstating banned accounts e.g. Trump, reducing content moderation and altering verification systems. Public statements, frequent commentary on politics, free speech, and societal issues, often via social media. Potential positive consequences, climate impact. Tesla accelerated the global shift toward sustainable energy and EVs. Innovation, SpaceX lowered space launch costs and inspired renewed interest in space exploration. Connectivity, Starlink provides internet access to remote regions, aiding education and crisis response, e.g., Ukraine. Potential negative consequences. Content moderation rollbacks. Critics argue Twitter, X's relaxed policies enabled misinformation, hate speech, and conspiracy theories. Labor practices. Allegations of union busting at Tesla and abrupt layoffs at Twitter raised concerns about workers' rights. Centralized power. Musk's control over critical tech infrastructure, satellites, social media, concentrates influence in unelected hands. Threat to democracy? Information ecosystems. Weakening content moderation could distort public discourse, affecting elections and trust in facts. Privatizing public square, control of a major communication platform by a single billionaire raises questions about equitable access to democratic debate. Comparison. Threats to democratic values. Trump directly challenged democratic institutions, elections, judiciary, press, through rhetoric and actions, creating a playbook for undermining trust in systems. Musk indirectly impacts democracy via control of information platforms, potentially enabling polarization or authoritarian actors to exploit reduced moderation. Global implications. Trump's policies and rhetoric inspired populist movements worldwide, e.g. Brazil's Bolsonaro, while Musk's tech ventures have outsized influence on global climate goals and digital communication. Conclusion. Both figures have had mixed consequences. Trump's legacy includes economic gains for some, but risks to democratic norms and global cooperation. Musk's ventures drive innovation, but raise concerns about unaccountable power over tech and information. Democracy threat. Trump's actions posed a direct challenge to electoral integrity and institutional trust. Musk's influence on information ecosystems presents a structural risk, depending on how platforms balance free speech and harm prevention.